My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Welcome back, folks. Today, almost a neighbor of mine, Elijah Iung, is zooming in from Renton, Washington. And Elijah is a very successful entrepreneur turned real estate investor, syndicator, and he's doing all sorts of interesting things in the real estate world. And looking forward to talking with him about what he's up to and specifically how he generates investor leads using LinkedIn. So Elijah, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks, Dave. Pleasure to be here.
So give us a little snapshot of what your real estate portfolio looks like beginning of quarter two of 2025. What kind of deals do you invest in? Are you an active syndicator or more on the passive side? Just give us an idea of how you're involved in real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've kind of done a lot of different things. Right now, my portfolio consists of quite a bit of farmland. And then some multifamily units as an active GP. And then I have LP positions primarily in the Sun Belt, Texas, Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia. And so yeah, some passive, some active. I also bought a triple net gas station last year. We won't get into that, but tax reasons basically. And so a bunch of different stuff.
Interesting. So I want to unwrap a few things. Farmland. Tell me a little bit about that. What appeals to you about that? Whereabouts is it? And is that just like you, or have you raised capital for those properties?
I have not raised capital for farmland yet. I have a feeling at some point down the road, we probably will. That started out as that was my first entrance into real estate as an asset class. I had a waste management business for the last 10 years and used the proceeds from that to invest in farmland just because that's what I knew at the time. That was just, an inflation hedge.
So you kind of grew up around that. Your family knew all about farming. Okay. That makes a lot of sense because.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So you understand they basically rent it out. Is that the understanding?
On paper, I farm it myself.
Okay.
My brother-in-law is farming. It's all in Michigan. So I'm originally from Michigan.
Okay.
We're actually here in the Seattle area serving as missionaries to our church. So that's why we're out here and the farmland's there.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Very, very cool. Now, the other thing you said you're doing is as an active investor, a syndicator, a co-GP on projects. So what role or roles do you play in those projects?
So I'm acting as a co-GP on a one project in Savannah right now, and the goal is I'm building my own company to do syndications myself.
Yeah.
As a lead sponsor. Really, I like being a co-GP. It's fine. It's a really sweet gig. If anybody else wants to raise money for me, I'm all about it. It's a good gig for you.
So is that your primary role with that one, is helping raise capital for the project?
Yeah, raising capital, and I put up some hard money inspections, kind of checked all the boxes for the SEC, right?
Got it.
So yeah, it's a good gig. It really is. I feel really good about the asset. The team is good. But it's not my long-term play. I'm an operations guy. I'd rather be more active. So that's the plan going forward.
So moving ahead, you want to start your own syndication company and be the lead sponsor and kind of the primary guy, finding the deals and vetting the deals and
exactly
doing pretty much everything.
If I'm asking people to trust me, I want them to actually, I want to actually have control over the deal instead of asking people to trust me, trusting another person.
Got it.
It works. There's fund managers all over that are making a killing and they're doing really good. They're partnering with great operators. That's just a personal preference. I'm an ops guy. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you ran your own business for quite a few years, so I could see you probably want to have more control.
Yep.
Excellent. So kind of what's your time frame for doing that, Elijah? Where do you see that happening over the next year or two? It sounds like you're busy right now doing some missionary work, so that might put a dent in your
Yeah.
availability. So what?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, right now it's I'm doing some that's why I'm doing podcasts. I feel like it's the best use of my time right now is letting people know what I'm doing
Mhm.
and getting my ugly mug out there, letting people know who Eli is. And so that's what I'm trying to use these platforms to get my name out there with the time I have. So I'm not
Yeah.
spending a lot of time on the business right now. I'm focusing on investor acquisitions.
Mhm.
And so, like you mentioned before, using LinkedIn,
Yeah. So
using some
let's talk about
outreach.
that because so many people struggle with connecting with investors, especially accredited investors, which I
Yeah.
assume is what you're kind of going after.
hmm
What do you find works best for you as a methodology with LinkedIn?
So I got partnered up with a guy early on that helped me get a foundation of followers started.
Hmm.
And if you don't care, I'll give him a shout out here.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Cole Baker with Investor Acquisitions, great
Mhm.
guy, um, really smart, and he has a very good system for getting leads on LinkedIn. So I got partnered up with him to start with, got a good foundation of followers there, and from there it's just been posting consistently. I have an assistant that helps me stay accountable there, and he helps me draft posts and takes care of replying to comments and stuff. Don't tell anybody, it's all me. Uh, so, but yeah, that's
It's funny you say that, Eli, because me online, it's kind of the opposite of catfishing. So,
yeah.
because my online person is a 21-year-old, very attractive young lady from London named Poppy.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah.
Sorry, I
Well,
interrupted you there. Yeah.
it's for me going forward, it's got to be something that scales somewhat. And so if I'm spending all my time on LinkedIn, um, you know, yeah, maybe I could do that now when I have a little more time as a missionary. But once I'm more active building the real estate company, when we move home, it's like I'm not gonna have time for that. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna maintain that. So it's like, well, we have to have a team that does that. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. Rather than just do things, we're trying to build systems that do things repetitively and in a way that's true to who, like still has to be my story, right? That's the
Yeah.
thing with LinkedIn is there's so much AI, there's so many chat GPT posts.
Hmm.
And I think the secret, this is just me speaking
Yeah.
anecdotally, but I think the secret on LinkedIn is going forward is going to be originality and being human and telling all your dirty secrets, because that's how people are going to know you're actually
You're legit.
real, you're legit. Yeah. So
So is most of the stuff that you post on LinkedIn, is it written posts? Do you do video stuff? What do you find? What like especially based on everything the AI is doing these days?
yeah. So we still use AI, don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
But we can put in we can keep the story true to who I am
Yeah.
and put it in a format that's easily readable,
Hmm.
and you know ChatGPT can edit things really well for you.
Yeah.
You can punch in a prompt and say, make this more professional, or make this more fun, or make this sound like an unhinged whoever, and it'll do it for you. Um, so we still use it. But as far as the content we put out, it's mostly written right now.
Okay.
We're working on building up a content bank from podcast interviews and stuff like
Yeah.
that, so that we can use that for doing short clips. I mean, that's kind of all the rage, right?
Well, if you ask nicely, we might shoot you a few reels or shorts from this interview as well. So
All
yeah.
right, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
So that's we're just trying to build up my goal is to build up a well-respected, presence online, actual presence online where people, start to recognize us and just know what we're doing, right? So,
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
That's fantastic. So yeah, and that I like how you've kind of compartmentalized things. So right now your focus is on the mission, but you're able to do these kind of things in addition to that. And then when you're done the mission, you can go full steam ahead
yep,
with growing
exactly.
your syndication company. So when you do go solo with the syndication, are you going to stick to multifamily properties? And if so, kind of what market areas do you really like?
Yeah, I see us focusing on multifamily long term. I think the outlook for multifamily over a long time horizon is going to be really good. Even, we've got some unrest or whatever with the political scene where we're not sure what's going to happen with tariffs or whatever. There's some uncertainty, right? But I
Mhm.
think long term it's going to be a good place to be. As far as I'm not opposed to being a little more opportunistic. I've got some money in some other asset classes. I think it's okay to have an eye open to other opportunities. I've got some experience in other stuff. I love triple net stuff. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as locations, um, that's a good question. Michigan has been my focus because that's home, and like I said before, I'm an operations guy. But
Yeah.
I think Detroit, despite what people have thought of Detroit for a long time, I think if you take a look at Detroit, there's a lot of business moving to Detroit. A lot of people don't know that the Little Caesars Arena family, what's their names? There's a big family office that's investing millions and millions and millions of dollars in Detroit, trying to revitalize it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of areas that need to be avoided. You have to know what you're doing, but I think
Yeah.
Detroit's going to be cool.
Well, and it's kind of your home turf, right? So
Yeah,
you know, I was just interviewing somebody recently, and that's exactly what they said. Everybody goes on these things they have to invest outside of their home state or their home or their
hmm,
city. The grass is always greener type thing. But this gentleman who was very successful and not in a super hot, quote unquote, hot market said, you know what? There are opportunities wherever you live. You just have to
yep,
know what makes sense and how to
hmm,
take advantage of that. And then you've got you've got your thumb on the pulse because you're there. You got a lot more control over it. So yeah, I
yeah,
understand go where the opportunity is, but at the end of the day, there is opportunity everywhere. And just like
yeah,
you said, right, everybody kind of thinks Detroit, no way, but there is tons of opportunity in
yep.
Detroit. In fact, I know tons of Canadians are going down there and buying turnkey properties a couple of years
Really,
ago in Detroit. So
sure.
yeah, so they're doing a
And
good sales job up here about that.
to continue that thought too, like there's I spent quite a bit of my time in West Michigan in the real estate scene there in Grand Rapids. And so there's a lot of connections between like the Grand Rapids, West Michigan area and the western side of Florida. So like the Sarasota,
Hmm,
Tampa area. So I love Sarasota. I've spent a lot of time in Sarasota. So I could see us doing some stuff in Sarasota too, but that's
yeah.
that's kind of a boomer bust market right now. So we'll see where that goes. But I think we're open to some options, but you know, really trying to build a company that's focused on what the investor wants right now. Um,
Mhm.
so that's what we're working
That's
on.
the goal. No, it
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. And I love your tips and suggestions about LinkedIn. So just as we're kind of wrapping up, if somebody, which most people aren't, if somebody's on LinkedIn, but they aren't really doing much of anything with it, how would you, what would be just like a few little tips or tricks that you would suggest to people to start utilizing LinkedIn to connect with high income, high net worth type people, potential investors?
Oh man, I don't know if I'm the guy to ask. I don't have that many followers. I think the big answer that's right in front of everybody is like just post consistently.
So
I
what does
think
that mean? Like, is it every day? Because I've heard different things. Some people say, LinkedIn's very different from Facebook, et cetera, where you have to post three times a day to
yeah.
get anybody. But LinkedIn's different. And in fact, I've heard people say, don't post more than two or three times a week
Hmm.
and kind of do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, kind of. What have you found has worked best for you?
We started out at 3 days a week and we
Mhm.
actually backed it off to two.
Yeah.
And I don't, the guys that are really killing it are the kind of guys, I don't know if you know who Alex Hormozy is, but there's,
Oh, yeah,
there's
for sure.
guys that have this system set up where they're posting 300 times a day.
Yeah.
They've got this massive content bank and they're just putting out short, whatever. You know, I don't know. I guess it depends what your goals are. That's worked okay for us. It seems like the actual inbound leads into the CRM from LinkedIn have slowed down a bit. So I don't know. Maybe we'll bump it back up, but that's what we're doing, and it's doing okay.
Yeah.
It's funny
Yeah.
you'll get one post that just goes nuts, and you get a bunch of leads from it, and then another one for no reason just doesn't seem to do much. It seems like, but
Yeah, the one that you
we're
thought so much
tracking
better.
everything. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to know what.
It's hard to know what the rhyme and reason is, and then what the algorithms are doing that
Yeah,
particular day. And that's the only
farmland.
thing I hate about social media and social
Yeah,
platforms is we don't control the algorithm. And
yeah,
I've got a good friend who was killing it with a YouTube channel for years, like, which is very difficult to kind of crack that code, right? But talk about
sure.
consistency.
Yep.
5 videos a week, and all this kind of stuff. That was his number one lead source. And then Google changed the rules, changed their algorithm because they realized, hey, or this all organic stuff that this guy worked so hard to crack the code on, we're not making any money off of that. So
Ah,
they turned off the algorithm for that. So now it's kind of forcing people to do the Google ads and stuff. So yeah, I hate all that stuff that we can't control, that they just gotta sneak around in the background.
I feel like I need to find somebody. There's probably the right people here in Seattle to talk to figure out
Also a few tech
how
people
to
there, yeah.
hack that. Oh, tech people on every corner here. But yeah, I've thought of that before. I need to find the guy that runs LinkedIn and just make friends with him, you know?
Well, speaking of making friends, if people are watching this, they want to connect with you, Eli, what should they do? What's the best place to go? Is it LinkedIn or a website? Where do you prefer people to go?
Uh, LinkedIn's great.
Mhm.
Go to the website and sign up, fill out the form, sign up for our email list. We got lots of good stuff on there.
So
We'll teach you
what's your website?
legacywayholdings.com.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
we've got an email sequence that'll take you from a LP that knows, somebody that knows nothing about real estate investing to somebody that is dangerous, knows what they're doing. So
Yeah.
check us out there.
Sounds good. Eli, thanks so much for being on the show. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next one. Hey there. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.